Yes, sir.
Obviously, coming up to the 40th anniversary of your fight together. At the time, Larry 39-0, Gerry 25-0. Larry, you were 32 years old, Gerry 25 years old. At the time, it was a massive fight. Did you realise how big it was at the time?
I thought it was just another fight, you know. But I know that it was going to be a hard fight, a good fight, because I was fighting Gerry Cooney. And he put it out there like I thought he would do.
No, I want to just tell you, like, I realized from this trip that I was just one of the many that Larry Holmes had. Just one moment I had with him. And I have a radio station, I do a show, and we broke down the heavyweight division. And from Jack Johnson up through today, and it was Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, and Lennox Lewis, #2. So I fought the greatest fighter in boxing history, and I did pretty good with the experience I had. And he was just great. It was, so many things I learned. And I still watch his fights now. We've been watching Kenny Norton's fight and Larry Holmes. I still watch and I kind of smile and get chills. And I still watch him fighting those guys, and I'm watching him work it out, how to figure it out, how to catch him. And it's so much fun, even in my loss. I love it.
Gerry, you mentioned there, obviously, now in hindsight, looking back, reflecting on Larry's career, he's one of the greatest to do it. Did you realise that at the time, Gerry, how good he was?
Yeah, I did. I thought I was more in the fight. I thought I could be more in the fight. And I feel like I went in there and I did pretty good. I fought my ass off. I tried to get to him. I tried to work with him. I landed some good shots, but he was just so smart in there. And it was fun. And it was 120 degrees. I got a little tired that night. And he waited. He doped me up a little bit. You use that jab, Got me tired. And I didn't have the tools. I needed 3 or 4 or 5 more fights against top-rated guys that I wasn't getting. But I learned so much from him that night. I enjoyed teaching it today. I learned that much from Larry Holmes. He owes me $5 too, bro.
You mentioned you could have done another 4 or 5 fights. Now, headed into this fight, you was been out of the ring for over a year, whereas Larry had fought 3 or 4 times the year prior. Do you feel that made a difference, the inactivity?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I wasn't getting the fights. I wasn't in with Don King. So partly my managers didn't want me to take another fight because they didn't want to risk the payday. But Don King didn't want me to fight those guys either, because what does he want to give them to me for? I'm not connected to him. But anyway, as it turned out, it's great. We're here today. It was 40 years ago. I can't believe it. And we're having a great time here in London, and we're traveling, and we're making people laugh, and people are making us laugh, and we're taking tons of pictures and, hearing the stories. It's fantastic.
Larry, for you, aside from the victory, what was your personal highlight from the fight?
June 9th, 1970, whatever it was, Ken Norton.
No, he says, what was the highlight from your and my fight?
Oh, with me and Gerry? It was mind-boggling. Gerry had a lot of fighters. A lot of people rooting for him. A lot of people rooting for him. And that was nice. I like that. I didn't know there was going to be a whole lot of people out there. And then I had to fight in front of him. But fighting Gerry, he was all what I thought he was. So can't take it away from him.
It's just that 13th round that bothered me a lot. That 13th round, I never liked 13. You know what I mean?
Bad luck.
For either of you, is there anything that you would change about the fight? Any regrets at all, looking back now?
Well, I would change the paycheck.
I mean, listen, Larry played the fight out great. I would have liked to have been a little bit more aggressive. I followed him around the ring. Just what I tell people you shouldn't do today. That's what I did then, because I didn't have the experience. Instead of cutting the ring off and trying to get closer to him, I followed him around. And all I was facing was that jab all night long and the long right hand. So yeah, I mean, education, tool. We were at a gym yesterday, Larry and I. We were working with the kids, and to try and get them to change to understand it's about being as strong as you can and as safe as you can. And unfortunately, back in those days, I didn't have that. Maybe my trainer gave it to me, but I wasn't capable of understanding it at the time.
You know, I tell you earlier, everybody, when they asked me about the fight with Gerry, I mean, it was a hard fight. Gerry fought me. I mean, he wasn't a little boy to go out and lay down. Gerry Cooney fought me. And it was a good fight, and I appreciated that. And I appreciate that he did not go any farther after the 13th round. So, but it was a good fight.
Now,
Yeah.
I've spoken to you briefly about this before, Larry. There was racial overtones in the build-up. Gerry, for yourself, how did you feel about that?
You know what? I was with a bunch of guys I grew up with. I didn't hear any of that. I was eating turtle soup and lobster tail in Vegas training. I didn't have no time for that stuff. Listen, I was in the fight of my life.
He was riding along.
You think I had time to think about that? I had to perform. I had to be the best I could.
Now, there were snipers on the rooftops of the hotels because of the worry and the fears for the build-up in this fight. Did that affect either of you in the build-up or during the fight?
It didn't affect me because, you know, I was having fun, you know. We had a lot of fun there, you know, with the promoters and stuff like that, with Gerry. We had a lot of fun. So it was a happy day for me to fight Gerry Cooney, you know, in Las Vegas.
You know, you have to be so focused. You get in the ring, you can't be thinking about a sniper up there or some asshole, you know, in the stands. I gotta think. You think I can take a little time away instead of thinking about him? No, we don't get that opportunity. So no, I didn't think at all about it. I was in the fight of my life, and I was so happy, and you know, so happy to get that opportunity. How many guys got that?
I was happy. I was happy that we got to fight because Gerry was the biggest name out there, and I had to fight him, and that was great.
Now, you've mentioned this week a few times, Gerry, you know, this fight, if it was fought in these days, could have gone 3-4 times. There was never the rematch. But a few years back, you mentioned an exhibition. How real was that? How close was that to happening?
Well, we were thinking about really traveling like 3 or 4 a year, just doing like an ambassador, you know.
Like we're doing now.
Yeah, like we're doing now. You know, go around and promote boxing and love and goodness. And it would be so great. But sometimes it doesn't work out. And, you know, so we do this. It's just fun. I don't get no black eyes. You know what I mean? It's sore lips. But, you know, go ahead.
The last question from me, obviously, you're now doing your tours. You're enjoying it. Just looking back, how good is boxing when you guys go from punching each other in the face to a friendship like you have now?
Well, punching in the face and where we're at now is a job. You punch the clock, you go to work. And that's what we did. We punched the clock and we went to work with each other. You know, we rolled the dice with each other. And that was the fun about it. The one who come up with the best hand wins.
Yeah, and for me, you know, it was such a learning experience. And then Larry approached me. I went through depression after that loss. And like I said, I'm one of many that he fought, great champion. So, and I went through a depression and I ran into Larry and we sat and talked. And he said, come on, let's shake it off. Let's get living. And that turned the page for me and helped me to move forward. And that's where we're here today. I mean, I still want him. I still want a piece of him, you know what I mean?
on the dice table, on the dice table.
On the dice table, yeah.
Larry, he mentioned there about he went into a bit of a depression after the loss and you've picked him back up. Did you know that? Do you know how much you've helped Gerry on that side of things?
No, I meant to do that. I wanted to do it, you know, and there was no job by doing it. He was my buddy. I didn't want to hurt Gerry. You think I want to hurt Gerry? That's like going out and shoot somebody. I don't want to hurt nobody. I want to do what I got to do and live my life the way I got to live it. And that's what I did with Gerry. And I wish him the best, you know. He was a friend and we shook hands and I met him again and then again and again and again. Now it comes to this.
Perfect.
And
Guys,
what we really want is we want you.
that's why I'm stood here. Guys, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Love you, bro. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it for having
Thank
me
you.
on.
Cheers, Scott.
You're welcome.